Three schools remaining in Conference USA Media Day coming up from Frisco, Texas. Now we go to El Paso, Texas to talk to the head coaches at UTEP. And joining us, Rodney Terry, the new coach of the men's side. Good to have you here. And Kevin Baker, the head women's basketball coach in the second year. Rodney, I'm going to go to you first if you don't mind. We usually start with the women. We're going to go with you because you got the brightest shirt on, okay?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Rodney.
You know, you and I were talking a couple of hours ago about how you have experience, obviously, at Baylor and Texas. How special was it to come back to Texas and coach because you came from Fresno State?
Well, it's awesome. I mean, I'm a native Texan. I grew up in Angleton, Texas, and, you know, I'm a product of Texas high school basketball. We've got tremendous coaches in this state that do a great job of teaching the game and working with our youngsters in the state. And obviously, I have a a lot of built-in relationships, and to be able to come back and be able to nurture those and have tentacles to reach in and get some of those gives us a leg up, I think, in recruiting as well.
Well, you talk to coaches that, even on the football side, that have ties to Texas. They go, it's invaluable because you already have those relationships in place.
No, absolutely, Ron. I mean, again, I've had a chance to recruit this state quite a bit, and over the years you build tremendous relationships, and recruiting is all about relationships, who you trust, and who's going to do what they say they're going to do with the kids in terms of the development and things of that nature. But my staff and ourselves are native Texans, so I think it bodes well for us in terms of recruiting the state hard. And
the one thing that really stood out when we were talking earlier, and I brought it up to him, is the fact that you understand the history of UTEP and the legendary Coach Haskins.
Well, not only that, but I also embrace that tradition. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously, the foundation's been laid there in terms of success there from a basketball standpoint, and we just want to build on that. And Coach Haskins and obviously legendary coach there, and built tremendous program, and developed a lot of really good young men that went on far past basketball, had a chance to do successful things in their lives, taught them a lot about the game of life. But just trying to build on that and do the same thing this day and time.
Well, obviously the history behind UTEP is big, and the fact that they draw big crowds and people love basketball down there. And I read a quote said you don't shy from expectations.
No, not at all. I mean, again, it's something that when you take on a job with high expectations and a great fan base, that kind of comes with the territory in terms of trying to put a really good product on the floor, one that's going to represent, both the community and the university the right way. You take a lot of pride in that, and you don't take that responsibility lightly. But it is a process. I'll ask our fan base to stay with us and stay the course, because when you're building something, Ron, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a little time, and anything worth having is going to take time to build. But once you do, you're able to sustain it, and year after year, you're able to be in a position to compete for conference championships.
One number that stood out: 11 different players started games last season. You probably would want more consistency in your starting five?
Well, I think that always bodes well for you when you're able to have consistency in terms of, you know what you're going to get. I always talk about wanting everyday guys. You know what you're going to get every day from your guys in terms of what they bring to the table. But we have 3 returners from a year ago, and we have 4 young freshmen that played their first, Division I scrimmage a couple of days ago, and so we'll be a work in progress in terms of being a young team, and from the start of the season to the end of the season, we'll be hopefully a totally different team.
Did Paul Thomas grab your attention early?
He did, and the fact that again, so much of this year is about buy-in. When you're coming in and you're taking over a program and you're trying to implement things that you're going to do from a program standpoint, so much of it is about buying into your culture and what you're trying to get guys to do on a daily basis. And from day one, Paul's embraced that, and he's worked extremely hard, and I think he'll be one of our better players this year.
Does he have to take ownership of this team, though, as a senior?
Well, I don't put all the ownership on him. Being a senior, Paul's kind of a quiet, leader, but he is a guy who has experience and has played in big games and meaningful games in his tenure there at UTEP, and with that, we do expect himself to, for him to carry himself a certain way, and hopefully that'll carry over to some of our younger players as well.
Oh, welcome to the conference. We'll be talking more, I'm sure.
Thank you, Ron. I'm excited about being here, and we got, again, tremendous leadership in our conference with Judy and her staff, and what they're able to do for us here at Conference USA. I'm excited about it.
I agree 100%. Now let's go to the ladies' side. Kevin Baker in his second year. Last year he increased the win total by 9 from the previous season, also won a Conference USA tournament game. I don't want to say did that surprise you last year, but I will. Did that surprise you last year, how they performed?
Well, I know there's coach speak answers that I'm supposed to say.
Yeah, really. No, it didn't surprise me.
But
yeah.
yes, absolutely, it did.
See, I've got a
surprise
penalty
us.
flag here. If
Oh,
you do
yeah.
that, I throw it.
Go ahead
okay?
and throw it.
Okay.
I'm going to need it for this for sure because, undoubtedly, this was a surprise season for us. Winning a game in the tournament and all that kind of stuff. We really didn't know what to expect year one. You know, we knew we had some talent, but we were kind of touching and feeling our way through the conference and figuring out as we went. So very pleased with how the year ended up. Even our loss to UAB in the next round, we gave them a really good game, and I'm proud of that as well. And you know, we were a team that really kind of grew from the beginning to the end. We were a process team for sure. Didn't play well early in the season, and then beat Western Kentucky last game of the year, and then obviously went a couple of rounds deep in the tournament.
6 losses by 7 points or less for this team last season, but what stood out to me, you were 7-5 in games decided by 5 points or less. I don't think people understand closing out games, how difficult having that record in close games is.
Well, it's great coaching, right?
There it is.
Isn't that what it is?
100% great coaching.
No, absolutely. It was players being great players and taking over the game at the appropriate times. I would love to take credit for that. I think more apropos would be I was responsible for the times that we didn't win. But I was really impressed with last year's team's resiliency. I thought they were really tough. I thought they were gritty. I thought they were mean at times, and I thought that really helped us get better every time we took the floor.
Well, all they got to do is look at Kayla Thornton, who now plays in the WNBA, former UTEP player, who is probably the toughest person I've ever seen on a basketball court, men or women.
And not only is she a fantastic basketball player, but she's a better person off the floor. She's phenomenal. Her parents did well. They raised a true winner and a true champion there, and she's going to be a great player in the pros for a long time.
Her dad, George, a military guy, which she got a little bit of the military in there. I'm a stat nerd. Outstanding job, though, for this team, getting to the free throw line, but even more importantly, keeping the other team off the free throw line.
Well, that was a huge point of emphasis for our team last year because we were thin. We had 7 players that we played, and we had a long talk with Tamara Seda, our 6'4" post player, that said, I want you to be the worst shot blocker in the country this year. Don't go for any blocks. We need you on the floor. And I don't think she fouled very much. We didn't foul much as a team,
right.
but we made big issue of that. We knew what we had to do to be successful, and thank goodness she bought in.
Okay, turnovers, though. That is something that drives coaches crazy. You were -6 almost in turnovers.
Well, you can see all this gray hair.
Yeah, there you go. It starts.
If you count all of them, they're all the turnovers that we had last year. You know, it was funny because we had a team that was very competitive and we were in every game, but you could almost end that sentence with a yeah, but, because we turned the ball over too much. And we did emphasize it. We did try to address it. But at the end of the day, we used to say the only way we can get better in turnovers is with recruiting. So we went out and we recruited some players, and we hope that that's going to make a big difference this year.
3 straight years, you've only had 1 senior on the team. Talk to us of the names we should be aware of this season.
Well, our lone senior is going to be a great player for us. And I love Coach Terry's mantra for his team this year. They have a blue-collar mentality. I think that's such a great way to put for his team, his mantra. But Jordan Alexander is sort of that blue-collar mentality. She does all those things. She rebounds. She takes charges. She does those types of things. And then if you know anything about our team, Katarina Zets is going to be a great player for us. She's a great shooting guard from Serbia. And then our 6'3" post player, Susanna Poots, is going to be probably one of the best players in the conference as long as she can stay healthy. If she can stay healthy, then she's going to have a great year.
Let's talk about Poots because she came off the bench 29 games, but still averaged over 9 points in 21 minutes per game. All those numbers, do they have to go up?
They do have to go up. They will go up. Susanna was hurt all year last year with a broken foot, played on it anyway. Very, very tough. And if you look at what she did at the very tail end of the year, 25 points. I think one game she had 27 points. Those are the first 3 games of the year she ever felt good. She was injured all year, and she feels great right now, but it's October. So we'll see how she feels in January and February.
Well, you lost Faith Cook, led the team in assists last year. Where do you get that person to be the field general?
Well, you know, we redshirted a really good junior college point guard from Seward, Nady Okwani. And she's going to start for us. She's healthy now. She's ready to go. We sat her out on purpose all year. She could have played for us in January and February last year. We chose to hold her out. She's going to be our starting point guard, and she is a phenomenal player. So we're really excited about her and the leadership that she brings.
Gentlemen, Great to see you. Welcome to the conference,
Thanks
Coach.
so much, Ron.
Good to
I
have you
appreciate
here.
it. Yep,
Coach, good to
absolutely.
see you again.
Yes, sir.
And I wish you the best of luck. We'll be back with UTSA right after this.